Okay, hello everybody. Okay, so my name is Chantal Bevan. I'm a pole dance teacher too, but I'm also an interviewer, and I just want to introduce the beautiful Neola Wilby to you. But just beforehand, she's got this beautiful book, okay, and it is a rare commodity, especially for you pole dancers out there as well. This is something that most of us would need, and I've done this like 10 years ago, but if I had this when I started, well, she's made history. The Neola will be the great.
that was great.
Yeah. And if you want to introduce yourself.
So I'm Neola. I am a personal trainer and a level 4 strength and conditioning coach, and I specialize in strength coaching for pole dancers. So yeah, I've done that now. I coach people online through my website, and I've done that for about 3.5 years now on my website. I've been a personal trainer for longer, but yeah, and then obviously I've just released the book, so yeah, all exciting stuff.
It's so cool. I mean, honestly, as soon as because I think I must have, like, either someone else was talking about it, whatever, I'm like, who is this lady? I need to know about this lady. And then I think I messaged you like, oh, by the way, it'd be really cool. And then obviously this book, as soon as I received it, I was so excited about it. I remember like checking my emails all the time, just in case, I'm not going to miss the what's it called, the delivery guy or whatever. Finally it came in, and look how thick this is. I mean, the beauty of it, I mean, I guess we'll go, yeah, it is, it's a monster. Might eat me alive.
I know, yeah. Everyone gets the book and they're like, hey, it's even bigger in real life. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, do you know what, that's all of your thoughts. Oh, I just realised, sorry, just give me a second. I'll let you carry on. My battery's about to go. Hold on. I just realised.
Plug it in.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Okay, so I'll tell you what, just before, as I'm doing this, if you want to explain your epiphany moment that led you to writing this book, and what influenced that.
Sure, yeah. Well, I suppose it was kind of like an epiphany moment. Sort of like I was before I started doing pole, I was a personal trainer, and I worked in the fitness industry already, so I was already kind of in that environment, and I was doing a lot of fitness writing as well. And I'd kind of like started to, I'd not lose my, well, kind of lose my mojo a little bit with fitness, and I was trying to find something where it was a skill as well as an activity, so it wasn't just kind of going to classes or just going to the gym. So I started doing Olympic weightlifting, which was awesome. I was terrible at it, but I loved it.
It's because you knew you were meant for greater things.
I know, right? Yeah, it wasn't meant to be the Olympic weightlifting.
Yeah.
And then I started getting into like calisthenic stuff, and that's why I ended up going to pole, because I basically wanted to do a human flag. I was like, one day I'm going to do a human flag, and then a pole class started near me, and I was like, that is going to help me do a human flag, and that's I went. But seriously, on the first class that I went to, I was like, I just fell in love with it, like immediately fell in love with it, and was just like, this is going to be my life now. Like, I just knew that was going to be it, like, and this was going to be the thing for me. So from that moment on, basically, I think probably that same week I went online and was like trying to find stuff about pole, like strength and conditioning for pole, because I was quite strong already, but I could not climb the pole. I could not do an invert. It was really hard, and that's one of the things that I loved about it. But it made me just go, right, how do I get strong for this? And I knew that in other sports, you always get this kind of like analysis of the movements of the sport and how to strength train for it, and it already exists, and I kind of assumed that would already exist for pole, but it just didn't, like, and I looked, and there was like little bits of stuff online, but not what I was looking for. And so literally at that point I was like, I'm gonna do that, like I'm gonna be that person that makes that happen. I was like, the universe has spoken. I will do that.
And I answered.
Yes, and then it just literally took over my life from that moment on.
Bloody hell, and mine.
But that's why it's so big, because I was like, I'm just gonna do it all in one go and just be like, boom, there it is. There's everything. So bad.
Oh.
So yeah, and that was like 5 years ago. So it's taken a long time from that kind of first thought about doing it. But yeah, it was a little bit of like an epiphany thing.
Yeah,
like,
no, I mean, honestly,
like
you're a lifesaver. Yeah, no, I just can't stress this enough. I think anyone else watching this, they're just like, what? There's a book for that? There's like a comprehensive book, you know, to do. I mean, because in a way, I mean, a lot of the time you're on the pole, and obviously, like you feel like you need a PT in a sense. You're like, oh God, I really wish I knew what I was doing. You know, obviously in the beginning, you know, we're okay now, but I mean, I feel like I feel better now. I've got this, you know, and I mean, you know, do you like the Yellow Pages thing? It gives you that boost up. This does that, but more, so much more. And I mean, it's my Bible now, and it's actually next to my bed all the time. So yeah.
It's so weird to think that like my picture is next to people in the.
She's on to us. Cool. That is so cool. That's a beautiful. I think, you know, in a way, yeah. I think like, you know, there was a need, and then you answered it. So perfect.
Yeah,
so
that was my aim anyway.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And also, I'm sure, especially with all of your students that you've kind of like you worked with as well, I'm sure they were exactly the same. It's like, we need a book for this, or we need some.
Yeah. You know what?
Extra.
That was kind of part of it as well, because I started coaching pole dancers, and then I do on my website, I have like preset programs that are not customized, so they're like trick based programs, and they're kind of like preset, but I also do customized like personal training. And I had so many clients, and I had to kind of stop taking on more clients, and then I had a waiting list, and then the waiting list got really out of hand, and I was like, oh, I'm drowning, like I can't help all these people. And everyone was like, you know, and I kind of wanted to, with the book, just say, look, actually it's not rocket science. Like you can do what I do for my clients. It's in the book. That's what it, you know, it tells you how to do that process.
So what page? Exactly, I know that you've actually put that in the book as well, haven't you, about how to design your.
Basically. So yeah, you can use the book, and it's got all the tests that I do with my clients, and you know, most of the exercises that I use, and so you can build your own program based on that. And that's basically the process that I go through when I take on a personalized training client. So I kind of wanted to just give people that power to do it themselves.
And I bet there's a lot of freedom in that as well. I mean, just like, look, now here, by giving you the power, you see what I mean? You know, obviously empowering. You know,
that's it. And because it doesn't exist already, you know, I just even if like this is just the start of the conversation on it, you know, and other people can add to it over time, that would be amazing. But I just think we don't really talk this way in the pole industry, like in terms of strength and conditioning and that kind of approach, which is really common in basically every other sport. We don't really have that same kind of culture, I don't think. And so I know,
even though they're the same thing, they're one and the same. It's like we don't kind of mix the two worlds together, which is absolutely, you know, it's mind-boggling, you know. But I mean, should we show the chapter of the?
We can do,
just because I'm clearly obsessed with this, you know. What page was it? Or,
which chapter? Sorry.
For designing your own.
All right. So that's basically, well, the chapter about designing your own program is actually is right at the end, like part 4.
That's what I thought as much.
So that's page 435.
435. Awesome.
Yeah. And it's at the end because
so
basically
much, guys. Look, honestly.
So it's at the end because basically the book, the start of the book, like the first part is like all the theory about sports science, and then the second part of the book, the main part of the book, is all the kind of like body movements and the different, and it goes through like hip and leg mobility, shoulder and back flexibility, and then like upper body strength, lower body strength, core strength, and then there's other sections on toe pointing and grip strength. And then it talks about pole specific kind of movements where we just analyze a little bit the different kind of biomechanics of different moves, and then cross references back to those sections. It sounds really complicated.
No, I think actually no, but you know what, you've broken down the complications of what it could have been, you know, so you like, don't worry, it's okay, the book will tell you, you know, like tell me the ways.
So basically then at the end, that bit at the end is how you pull everything together from the rest of the book to build the program.
That is so cool. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, you know, I feel like that in its own right, you know, you have to get the book to actually see. I mean, look, you know, even strength conditionings for, you know, certain moves, you know, obviously like the INX as well, you've got in here as well. All of the badass ninja, I know you said that, you know, like pole ninjas, you know, where your pole ninjas, all right. But all of those ninja moves that you aspire to learn, it's all explained in the book. And like I bet like some of the women watching is like, what? It's all explained. But yeah, no, awesome. That's so cool. Like,
and I really like to kind of like, I like to really geek out on like on the kind of the anatomy of moves. So little things like where, you know, because I look at things like, oh, it's a leg hang, but what's actually happening there? Like what you do, you know, there's hip rotation involved, there's this, and then by analyzing it and really understanding it more in that way, you can really then realize what your own weaknesses are and work on those things, because pole is a skill-based sport, so a lot of it is repetition and skill, but sometimes there is something that might be holding you back, and it might be like a strength or flexibility element to a move that you might not have thought about. So it's useful for that kind of stuff as well.
In a way, I find that when you, it's like once you pop, you can't stop really. Like once you start pole, you know there's more to you. So then you kind of go, and that's my, you know, I'm on a mission to tell people that there's so much more to them. You know me now, you know, it's just how I talk. But I think like sometimes, you know, some women, they kind of start and they go, oh, you know what, I'm not strong enough to do this, and they, because of all these things that, you know, all of our insecurities, you know, we weren't born with, they were given to us. So all these things that we say to ourselves, oh, you know, I can't do this, I can't, but then I guess like now there's actually a book that exists that says, no, don't worry, that's part of the process too, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, you're right. And I think there is a thing about pole where you do get stronger, but also there is a big psychological side to it, and it's one of the reasons why I absolutely love it. Like, it's so empowering, and you just feel so great when you can do these like tricks, and the fact that they are really hard makes it even better, because you know, you try to do something and it's really hard and you're like, oh my god, that is actually really hard. And when you eventually are able to do it,
it's impossible, but then you go, oh, it's possible, then you do it.
And then you're like, I can do that,
I'm a superhero.
You do, you feel like a superhero. It's awesome. Like, what other sport makes you feel like that? It's great.
I know, no, it's absolutely true. I mean, I was saying this before about gym. I mean, gym, you know, it scratches some of the itch, but not all of it, you know. Like, there's a big rash there that needs itching, you know.
It's true, I mean, I love a good deadlift, you know. I love deadlifting in the gym. I love working with barbells and stuff, and that is a similar sort of like empowering thing, but it can only take you so far. It doesn't have that like playful side of it that pole does.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think also, because especially for women as well, you know, we kind of, you know, we don't want to, there's that whole thing of like going to, I keep on saying like, you know, against gyms or something or other, you know, but I'm not, you know, obviously but it's like, I feel like with pole, you know, especially for women, you know, we want to feel at least a little bit feminine, you know. It's like, this is definitely a feminine sport, and finally there's a sport for women. I know there's obviously other things like netball and stuff like that, really traditional stuff, but this is actually where we really like there's that part where you say like, you're in a badass. What is it? Like, in the beginning part of you. I'll just let everyone know, I've read a part of the intro to Neola's book, and I sent it to her.
It's great. It sounds great in your voice. I don't think it would sound quite as good in my Yorkshire.
I know. No, it's cool. I forgot. So who are the people that you idolize and encouraged you?
This is a really hard question. So I don't really idolize anybody so much, but the people that have had the biggest influence on me, I would say, are actually my parents.
That is the coolest thing. I'm a family girl too. I'm a pack animal. I know what you mean.
Because they obviously the biggest influence in my life, and like my mom is like, super creative and just really nice and just so encouraging of everything that I do. Like, it doesn't matter what crazy thing I say to her that I'm doing, she'll be like, that's awesome, you know, like what. Then like she's just so enthusiastic about everything that I do, which is so cool. And then my dad is the opposite, but in a great way, like, but he's very practical and pragmatic.
Yeah, he's the foundation.
Yeah, and he'll be like, you know, but he's always got a lot of to-do lists. He likes to get stuff done. He's very organized. He, you know, he'll be like, he's that kind of guy that will be like, if you're going to do a job, you know, do it properly,
do it well.
that kind of thing. Yeah. And I actually think that those two kind of influences in my life have like combined to make me like who I am. So, because I am quite creative, but I am quite like my dad as well, you know, like I am quite practical and organized. And I think to do something like write a book, you've got to have both of those things.
Yeah,
which is quite,
I know what you mean.
You know, some people are like really heavily one or the other, but I think I'm quite a good mixture of both, and I put that down to my parents, definitely.
That is a beautiful answer. That is a beautiful high five, girl. I caught it. That is so cool. I love that. That's brilliant. I think, to be honest as well, you know, because it all comes down to the root, doesn't it? You know, and kind of your influences, you know, and that's beautiful.
And the person that has encouraged me most is my boyfriend. Like, he's been really supportive and amazing. Yeah.
Because I was actually going to mention that, because you mentioned that in the book as well. I was like, oh
so
yeah,
good.
cool.
He's just amazing. He's so good. Like, he's really techie, as Nev, and he so whenever I like got stuck with the kind of like, because I published it myself, so I did all of the like photo editing myself and all the typesetting and stuff like that. So whenever I got stuck, which was many times, he was always there to help me. But not just that, but he believes in me more than I believe in myself. Like, and
I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Because that's a mammoth task for a mammoth book.
Yeah. I don't know how he pulled with me either, because for like the last year, I just barely spoke to him. Like, I just kind of like grunted at him, and he was just like always making me cups of tea and like, you know,
that's
like,
so cool.
working like 60 nowadays. But he just, he bless him. I like need to make it up to him big time.
No. I mean, to be fair, in a way, I guess like him seeing you happy like this, and then, you know, actually, you know, getting to the goal and then kind of seeing it all fruition now.
Yeah.
You know, that's the gift to him in a way.
Like this is your gift.
Yeah, this is for you. This is for you. Not for me, you know. Cool. So what tips would you give your customers using your book for progress, and like your favorite chapters for that, as it were?
There's like a few different ways to use the book, really. We kind of talked a little bit about some of it. Some people, what you can do is, like I said, you could, if there's a certain move that you struggle with, like say you really struggle with laybacks for some reason, you could go to the bit in the book about laybacks and understand the anatomy a little bit more, and then that part of the book references back to the off the pole stuff, so it'll tell you like those key elements of flexibility, mobility and strength that you might need to work on. So you can use it in that way to target a specific move and learn more about it. And I think a lot of like instructors use it that way, you know, like for the students. So where sometimes if you got to move yourself really easily and somebody else just can't get it, sometimes you can kind of, you don't know what exercises to give them, or, you know, it's difficult because you got that move really easily. So sometimes if you've really struggled with it, you got loads of progressions to give them. But if you found something really easy and your students don't pick it up as easy as you do, you kind of got to start thinking outside the box and giving them more progressions and trying to figure out why they're struggling with it. So there's that way of using the book.
Yes, of course.
That's not really how like I designed the book to be used, but
it's now it's actually I think actually, you know, because it answers so many questions. So anything like, let's say in the class or whatever, you know, if they have got, as you said before, like a weakness or whatever, I guess you've tailored it so there's every aspect is actually covered. It's like, well, just in case of this, just in case of that, you know. But I think also it's because you've gone so in depth into the actual the body as well, and like the mechanics. I think that's the reason why, you know, it gives the actual let's say the teacher more understanding of what's happening to the student. As well, and their muscles and stuff like that as well.
Exactly. And we don't.
And you're a rare commodity. Why were you around 10 years ago? no, Jesus.
I know. Well, the thing is, it's such a new sport, and it's as a sport,
Yeah,
you know,
true.
and it's such a new thing that it's just not really developed to this point yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
true.
yeah, I think it's time, I think, for people to kind of start thinking about it this way. Or I think so anyway.
Yeah, I think, yeah, because I think people are now, yeah, hey, amen, girl, amen. I'm with you on that one. I think also as well, because it took, because it must have been the same for you when you first started. I'm sure every pole dancer, you know, they start, and whatever level you're at, when you start telling your friends, oh yeah, I do pole dance now, and they're like, what? You know, but now it's a different animal now. Like, it's actually changed. You know, finally we can say it without going, oh no, it's fitness, and oh, you know, like this, and
Yeah.
you know, and suddenly, you know, you go tighten the bum and everything. You're like, oh,
yeah. I know it is
do I have
weird
to
thing.
explain
Like,
myself? Yeah.
yeah, and I definitely kind of went through that phase of when I first started it, saying, oh, I do pole fitness, but trying to kind of not say that it was pole dance for some reason. But mostly because I just can't really dance very well. So, but now I just say to people, oh, I do pole dance, like, and I coach pole dancers, and then they're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean, I think now it's like you just said a second ago. For you to be able, I mean, so this took you 5 years. So I guess like
well, I've been doing pole for 5 years, so and I've been thinking about the book for 5 years. It's probably like a solid year when I was like,
but I think, as you just said earlier, because of the fact that all of the judgment before it and stuff like that, you knew whilst creating it that people needed it, that, you know, all of your information, all of your nuggets of information that you were giving and coaching your students, you knew that, obviously, because you've got inundated as well with loads of people. So it's like, you know, you guys need this, you guys definitely need this. So
yeah, totally,
but it is the growth of what pole is now.
It is, yeah, and it is getting a bit more mainstream, and you know, it was on Australia's Got Talent winner, you know, she I can't remember her name now.
Anastasia Sokolova.
No,
the Ukrainian one, because that might be
an Australian.
Kirsty Sellers.
Yeah, Kirsty Sellers.
I messaged basically. I'll be interviewing her as well, but
awesome.
Yeah, but
the routine was amazing for that. Obviously that was like super mainstream, and now loads of people have heard of it, of pole dance as a thing. You know?
It's actually really lucky now, because at least we can kind of actually just talk about it normally. It's like a social conversation rather than, are you sure you know you are, you say you are. So I'd have to explain myself, but yeah. Yeah, cool. So so how can this fabulous book solve the problems of pole dancers? In a way, I guess we've already sort of covered that, but I know that this is literally one big problem solving, you know, bundle of beauty, you know. I mean, I you know, no matter what, as soon as I opened it up, I just knew that it was going to answer all of my questions.
Do you know what? Like, I think on that, like, I would say it depends like what level you're at in pole as to like how useful it is, but it's useful in different ways for different people. So my clients fall into like 3 main categories: new pole dancers that have like literally just started like last week, and they're like, oh my god, I love pole, which is like me. I really want to do it, but I don't have any upper body strength, and I'm you know, I want to be able to climb, and I want to invert, and I want to do all the things right now. And then there's like the intermediate pole dancers that maybe have been doing it for a few years, but they've either lost the mojo a little bit, they got stuck in a bit of a rut, or there's just like they just feel like they're doing the same things all the time, and they're not really making any more progress. And then really advanced pole dancers that maybe like compete professionally, and maybe doing for like 10 years, and you know, those 3 different categories, they're all, what they will get out of the book is so different. The newbie pole dancers, this is like the best start for them. Like, if they can start in this way, like with like all of this, like with creating such an amazing foundation for the future, is the best way to start to learn.
Do you know, honestly, I just wish this was around when I first started. Do you know what I mean?
So many people have said that, and then the intermediate pole dancers, for them it's more that thing of like picking moves, you know, and like tweaking like little bits of maybe the mobility and strength where that maybe is a weak spot for them. Like, I have a lot of clients that will be like, do you know what, I can do like Aisha, I can do all this stuff, but I just can't do a layback, or you know, like some really move where they're like, I feel like I should be able to do that one, but I just can't. So then we can like analyze the what it is about that move that is stopping them from being able to do it, because it's obviously they're quite strong, you know, they've practiced this skill a lot, but there's something missing from maybe their strength or flexibility, and we'll work on that, and then it's like magic, because it's usually well. And then the advanced pole dancers, for them it's more kind of prehab stuff, because those pole dancers have usually realized that they're starting to get like imbalances and maybe little niggles and injuries and stuff, so they've realized that maybe they could have done things in a better way, and so that now they're trying to kind of have a bit more balance in the training and do a bit more prehab work and that kind of thing. So yeah, for them that's what they would get out of it.
This is so cool, because you know what, I mean, the more I'm talking to you, I think like it's actually having this book because of the fact of like, you know, doing this beforehand, you know, and you know, like, do you know, like, you just naturally injure yourself or whatever because you're like, oh, I can do this, and then you think, okay, right, I've got to step back a little bit, let myself heal, and then at least this book will help the prevention of any kind of accidents before, and actually it will let you what's it called, have an understanding of the potential of, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
before
like
you go straight into it, you know.
Yeah, that's it. And I think that's kind of one of the main things, is like an injury kind of trying to reduce your risk of injury, and because so many pole dancers are injured, like everyone's injured. And it's because what we do is pretty brutal, isn't it? Let's be fair.
It is. But I mean,
you know,
which is what like people go, oh yeah, I mean, you know, you come out of all these, but you black and blue, but you're proud of yourself. But because people see them as like, you know, battle wounds or whatever it is, and they're just like, oh my god, like you just had like, you know, that was rough, you know, like why do you still want to go back? But I think it's because of people don't know that each bruise has got its own story and its own kind of, you know,
like, I earned that bruise. I earned that.
Yeah, come on, you know, I'm blue for a reason, damn it, you know. And but yeah, it just means you're working hard.
Like, and I think it's one of the things that, you know, in the book where I'm like, we're weird pole dancers, we're weird people, because why do we do that to ourselves? You've got to be a special kind of person to do it.
Well, you feel special afterwards, don't you? You know. Oh gosh. But yeah, no. Oh, this is so cool as well. Oh, but yeah. So anyone who wants to try and find your website, or even like, you know, get your book and, you know, find where you are. Where are you, lady?
So yeah, I'm on, and my website is thepolept.com. And my Instagram is weirdly called PT the Pole.
Yeah.
PT was taken when I set that up, I think. My Facebook is just the Pole PT. So yeah, you can get me on any of those. And yeah, the book is on there on the website. The ebook version just came out today. So I tried to get that out at the same time as the book, but then it was a nightmare, and then I was kind of reluctant to do the ebook
nightmare.
before. I know, yeah, because it's so big, right? And because there's all these tabs and stuff, and I just, because I'm old school and I like to have paper like a book, I thought people won't want an ebook of this. Like it's like a reference book, and it'd be really hard to read as an ebook. So I kind of was really reluctant to do it, and I thought it wouldn't really work, but so many people asked me for it, so I've done it, and I've made it interactive. So that's how I've got around it. That's why it took me so long. So it's got like all the exercises. It's got links to the videos.
Okay, cool.
And you can like jump between the chapters and stuff like that with hyperlinks. So yeah, so, and obviously there's no shipping on it because the shipping is expensive.
Yeah.
Like £20 to ship it around the world. So yeah, so you know, people can save money on it by getting the ebook if they'd rather have that copy.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's cool. That is so cool. I mean, honestly, guys, you know what? You know, just head straight over to her website, and she's the coolest person, as you can tell. And you know, honestly, it's been so cool to meet you. Like, finally talk to you face to feminism. It's like that.
It's lovely to speak to you. Thank you for interviewing me. It's been great.
Oh no, you're welcome. You're so welcome. But yeah, so much love to you, babe. And we'll do this again sometime.
Thank you.
Oh, welcome. So much love to you. Bye.
Bye.